everyone, and welcome to Thermal Control Magazine's interactive session on smart HVACR systems. Pandemic devastating impact worldwide led to the technological advances and challenges in the HVAC industry, creating smart HVACR systems, transmitting and safely storing temperature-sensitive goods. The voice-controlled heat pumps, sensors-activated devices, and mobile apps controlling HVAC units from anywhere have been becoming a common across the HVAC industry. Smart HVAC systems learn where and how much heat or air to bring to each section of the building. Smartness is when a device can perform actions and maintain temperatures all on its own based on certain set module. A smart HVAC system leverages network HVAC components, IoT technology, and sensors that integrate with building automation systems. The sensors collect data about conditions throughout the building and also monitor building occupancy, compiling data over time that will inform, track, and perform HVAC systems. Potential energy saving, comfort, and convenience are the advantages now. The future is all about interconnected devices. On this note, today we have come together to witness an engaging interactive session on smart HVACR systems. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and privilege for me to introduce to today's distinguished speakers, Mr. Vishal Garg, Professor, IIT Hyderabad, Mr. Sakhi Chandrayan, President, INVAC Association, Mr. Arup Majumdar, Chief Executive Officer, Trayati Consulting Group, and Mr. Subramaniam C., Principal Consultant, SSS Consultants.
We just had very interesting presentations opening up new digital horizons. Industry needs to be smart and integrated with the smart HVAC system. And this is an opportunity offered by the pandemic in direction towards digital connectivity. So coming to Ms. Sakhi Chandran, you were mentioning about commercial building systems, smart infrastructure of digital India, independent growth of HVACR, and startups. As you know, AI and IoT is part of our everyday life. It enables to make informed decisions about everything from health to building to air quality and home security. What new trends and innovations do you see for building automation technologies to empower smart infrastructure as we hear digital connectivity, apps, data in the new normal times? Ms. Sakhi, please.
Thank you very much. It's a very interesting question. As Subbu said, everything under the sun is coming into the building. When it comes to integration of the building, I talk about the rooftop to the basement, which is solar to the PHEVs. Now, there are certain sections which are predominantly there in India or India-like countries, wherein the solar power can be generated highly because we have a lot of sun. PHEVs are going to work very well and the trends have started. And when we power the PHEVs with the solar electricity generated, then that time we are actually innovating. The rest of the conditions that we are going through are just the transition phases. I can see a lot of innovation starting from water purification, waste management, till the solar. That should happen in India. And they have started. I would also like to clarify one more point that Mr. Arup mentioned. I am saying yes to innovation. We have to innovate in India. We have to choose to innovate because we have a finite life and we have a finite time to market. Now let's take an example of Uber. If Uber decides to create their own maps, they are going to take enormous time to create maps and also provide the service in the cab, right? But if they take the maps from a collaborator, say for example Google Maps, and they provide their service as the innovation, then they reach the market faster. India, let's do innovation in every aspect that suits us and that could suit the entire globe. And let's decide what standardized practice to take from the world.
Dr. Vishal, interesting insights on task control of environment. Now, tell me one thing. Each element has its role in IoT ecosystem, sensor or loads. And if a single component fails, the complete IoT chain will break, leading to communication break. To deal with such safety breach, what AI-based support technologies are available? Dr. Vishal, please.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. In any system, we have to prevent single point of failure. And I think IoT is one system which actually provides resilience against this, because each device can be connected to internet directly. We are not necessarily having a common gateway through which everybody is communicating. And there can also be various ways through which it is connected to the internet, right? And the beauty is that even if one link fails, there is a possibility of these sensors and devices forming a mesh and finding another way to communicate to the internet. Now, to make the system even more robust, there is a possibility of two-tiered decision making or control, you can say. So one is at the cloud, and it is doing the decisions for all the sensors and all the actions. But if the cloud fails, then there should be a fail-safe. Either localized computing is available, edge computing, fog computing, whatever you call. And the worst case, the device itself in the end can have some computing and know what to do. So actually, IoT kind of makes it even better from that point of view of single point of failure. Now you talked about how AI can help here. So the way the AI is helping is that we are talking about two things. One, we are talking about low cost several sensors. The previous approach, when we had wired things and BMS, we will have good quality sensors but less number of sensors, because there was a lot of cost involved in wiring and we can't put so many sensors. Now with energy harvesting, with wireless technologies, we can go for several low cost sensors, and then AI can help us in getting accuracy as well as spatial distribution. And the second thing that is helping us is virtual sensors. So we can create virtual sensors and there's no problem then, it cannot fail in that sense. So it can be a particular measure can be sensed through other measurements, and a virtual sensor can be created. So many things are happening, and these are 2 or 3 things which makes this robust enough against failure.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Vishal. Also, Mr. Arjun Chatterjee, one of the delegates, was putting a question that he is concerned about the latency related to the bandwidth and the connectivity with cloud. And he was also talking about the cyber security aspect of going for IT. So how do you see it? Probably this 5G initiatives may address the bandwidth concerns about the connectivity, or most of the cities even we have better connectivity. How do you see? What is your experience?
So yes, latency will be there, and it is not a good idea to move everything to the cloud. Every small action, if I press a button and the light has to switch on, and I have to wait for that action to go to the cloud and come back. So we have to have a proper approach in which most of the actions can happen locally. Cloud is more like supervisory. Cloud is more for interaction and getting a big picture, and not for mundane actions. And then privacy can also be prevented in this way, that not everything is going to the cloud. Most of the data is within the building. Only that data where analytics is required to be done is shared in an anonymous way, and preventing the privacy as well as possibility of somebody hacking into the system. So many things can be done. It is not a black and white solution that either everything is to be on cloud or everything has to be disconnected. It has to be a hybrid model.
Yes, and it is much discussed topic. Even our previous sessions also, we had a conversation about the same. Thank you so much, Dr. Vishal.
Coming to Mr. C. Subramaniam, you are sharing thoughts about end user benefits from conventional to smart systems and optimizing TCO. IoT in HVAC is the future. The future is all about interconnected devices, comfort and convenience. With evolving technologies, what innovation potentials do you envisage for next-gen smart technologies in future? Mr. Subramaniam, please. please.
Yeah. See, it is almost infinite, because whatever that we talked about, I presented at every level, every device, every smart controller, whatever we talk about, field device, that you can take all these things into IoT, and you can build the intelligence into that, and you can be innovative, and you can start manufacturing locally. Also, as Saki said, there are a lot of opportunities for every creative person to start working on that. And it is all up to them how they want to build that intelligence into that small piece of equipment you're talking about. Because it is not that you have to follow somebody's programming pattern or their routines or their languages and things like that. You can be as innovative as you are, and you can demonstrate it, and you demonstrate it, and then it shows return on investment, and then the owner takes your solution. I think the sky is the limit for anyone with the right kind of development and innovation skills to take the entire industry at every level to IoT platform and provide solution. It's not only also installation or taking it there, it's also operating, because we should not look at only providing design solution to transit from here to there. That is one, implementing a system, but making it operative during the entire 15 years, 10 years, you're talking about the life cycle of that. Now that is where the returns are going to come back to the owner. That is where the impact is felt. The investment is being retrieved back. I think that is where they should not only stop at giving the solution, they should get into engagement of providing continued service to the building owner, taking the responsibility, single seat responsibility of providing that, and ensuring that return on investment comes to the owner and in India.
Thank you, Mr. Subram. That was quite insightful revelations. Now, it's an open question. What steps for increasing awareness are needed to educate people for skilling as new data and digital connectivity is there? And there is a time lag between conventional and data-driven revolution.
So when it comes to increased awareness, we have to talk about repeated ROI and NOI. We have to go beyond ROI, which is return on investment, and go to net operating income. Now, when building is able to provide the net operating income in form of, say, energy efficiency or cyber security or any aspect of the building which are regenerative, then the innovations are going to be integrated quickly. So I think to create the awareness, we have to take the investors from ROI to NOI.
We talk about raising this awareness part of it. One of the things which I've seen in other countries is there's a close interaction between academia and industry. Because today, if you go to any engineering college and you ask them what is being taught in HVAC, it is again the old standard, whatever we had learned 20 years back. But to update this curriculum, to make it more industry relevant, there is still a gap which is necessary. So I think there has to be some effort to create a bridge between these two, so that the young chaps who come out into the field, either from an ITI or from an engineering college, they understand what are the frontiers of knowledge which we're talking about in real life in industry.
So considering smart HVAC systems, what new strategies such as estimating occupancy or the air quality measurements will best fit in the changing scenario trending with the smart ways? Mr. Aru.
In the current situation, the focus on health and safety is paramount. So in the smart HVAC, for example, today we are talking about air that we breathe. And we know that especially in the northern part of the country, we have PM 2.5 issues. We have particulate matter issues. We have got CO2 issues. Now we have got COVID issues. So handling air quality or the quality of air that we breathe, if that is included as a part of the smart HVACR system, that is something which people will adopt really easily and try to sell them some feature which they might think they will not need today. It is good to have, but it's not necessary to have. But if you sell it with the story of health, it becomes necessary to have.
We were addressing various aspects of the technology available, presently available in our country. How do you see, having an alliances for technology from international markets in India? Where are we standing in terms of adopting HVAC technologies in domestic market? I would like to start hearing from Dr. Vishal.
I'll definitely like to add a couple of points to the previous question, that what you think can be done. What I think we are, hearing a lot about smart grid, and we are hearing a lot about storage, especially because of the renewables. And we don't see HVAC industry as a storage service provider also. So what I think that one, we should not just look for chemical storage in the electrical form. We should also look a big possibility of thermal storage, and where HVAC people can play a big role. So storage is not electrical people's job. We should also look into that matter. And to facilitate that and to reduce the demand, I feel that district cooling can play a big role, especially in residences, where right now everybody is going for individual ACs, and the peak load increases when all the ACs are on. We can go for district cooling with thermal storage, which can really help us in shifting the load as well as reducing it. So these are the two things I think which are we should look into that. Technologically, not that breakthrough. It's just a matter of rethinking how we design and incorporate these into our
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Thank you, Vishal, sir. Ms. Shaki, can you share what is your view on this?
When it comes to what new strategies, the only strategy that I see is sustainability. We have to talk about sustainability time and again. Now, building automation in India is adult. It has been 20 years here, and now it has to run on its own. My earth, my responsibility is the theme that we all have to run. So when we generate the energy from natural sources and reuse it, that is the time we are actually talking about.
And also, how do you see the absorption of technology from international market?
As I already said in my presentation, the collaboration is very important. We have to decide what to innovate and what to not reinvent, and keep the global relevance, which not only brings the right technology and right time to market in India, but it also opens the global market for the products in India. So the collaborations are very important.
Absolutely, yes. Collaborations are definitely very important. Mr. Arup, do you see any specific area where we absorb technology rapidly in HVAC?
I just want to follow up on this adoption of technology from foreign countries. If you see, technology today is available. All the major multinationals who play in this space, they have a position in India. The hurdle that we face is, again, as I said, the mindset of the people. And so who can comment here? And I'm sure he meets with many people with the technology provider who says that do this, but he faces the problem when he goes to tell that concept to the building owner or to the developer, whoever that is, that he doesn't buy into the story to be able to absorb the technology. So hurdle comes over there. I don't think availability of technology or modifying the technology according to the Indian usage pattern is going to be an issue for us.
Just want me to add a few points to that. What happens is today, we should not be, I think, limited by geographical limits that, let's worry about only products manufactured in India or system manufactured by India. Today we talk about it. I don't think there are any great BMS manufacturers or smart, complete 100% solution providers who have started from A to Z available in India. But today, no boundaries are there. You can use any good product, any good technology which is available. And if in the process we start manufacturing something, a development, we can always make the global market and then access it. I think that's what Saki also said. That's a very nice point. I think we should look at it from the end user point of view and from the bringing the cost for the owner at a very affordable level without, and as your business update, which is thermal control, thermal comfort we are talking about. I think that is the key word that we should keep about, because, there are a lot of effort which is going on from the industry, which talks about thermal comfort today. Everything is thermal comfort driven. It is not, HVAC driven or chiller driven or VRF driven. It is driven from thermal comfort. So we have to talk about mixed mode system. We don't talk about 100% air conditioned system. You don't need air conditioning for 8,760 hours a day. Yeah, you have to work for. Now these concepts are not, possibly getting implemented because we are on a developer mindset. A developer is committing something to a tenant. But they don't want to accept a mixed mode system. Today, any developer you take across India, DLF to right from DLF to Lulu to Promenade to Prestige to Embassy Park.
Yes.
You take any builder, they will not take anything. They will not compromise on mixed mode.
Absolutely.
Whereas occupied and owned buildings, they will go on possibly, mixed mode system.
Absolutely.
But that is not because they are they want to be on a commercial model basis. But we have to look at sustainability. We have to look about awareness, and I think the programs what you are doing, I think it's a great initiative.
Really, thank you so much, sir. It is really encouraging. Thank you so much. Thank you for your encouraging words as well, and it's very optimistic. Yes, I request Dr. Vishal Garg to give a closing statement.
So basically, I think we are witnessing a huge change everywhere. We are witnessing renewables getting into the grid, distribution, generation. We are witnessing EV getting into our buildings soon, right? India is witnessing a huge construction. We are going to add a lot of space. We are witnessing IoT. So all these things are happening right now. And there is an opportunity for India to leapfrog. Not only I'm just talking about adopting the new technologies, but to develop the new technologies and adopt it. Be the world leader. And I see a huge market potential if, of course, we follow the standardization, we follow interoperability. Not only we will develop products and processes for our consumption, we will be able to export them, and we can be actually having a possibility here to lead in this area, because we have a huge cooling demand, we have a huge air conditioning demand, and first solve our problems and then export those solutions. So I see there is a concentrated effort required, and what I propose that should we have some kind of a smart air conditioning research center, which is interdisciplinary in nature, where we look not only on the technology part, but also human part. As we discussed today, a very important aspect of any technology is the acceptance and how human behavior is there. How do we want to use it, which includes comfort, which includes, many other things. So bringing in the sustainability, bringing in the cost, bringing in the human aspect, bringing in technology all together, how we can look at this holistically and put our best brains to solve this problem.
Yes, and that is a future ahead. Thank you so much for accepting my request. And it is really a privilege to host each one of you on this show. And
thank you, panelists, for exchanging your valuable thoughts on today's topic, Smart HVACR Systems. We hope you enjoyed the session thoroughly. Before wrapping up today's session, we would like to thank our distinguished panelists, Dr. Vishal Garg, Ms. Sakhi Chandran, Mr. Arup Majumdar, and Mr. Subramaniam C. I would also like to thank Mr. Gopalanand and Mr. Prasad Nair for taking this initiative. We would like our delegates and viewers to stay connected with us on our social media handles. Thermal Control Magazine is available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Additionally, you can also download our app from Google Play and App Store. So with this, we would like to announce the closing of today's session. Request you to stay tuned for more such sessions. Thank you and goodbye.